Gentlemen of the press, we have come to the end of this World Press Conference. Thank you very much. Concerned with the state of affairs of the nation vis-a-vis the planned nationwide protest bill to commence on Thursday, 1st August 2024. The Peace Corps of Nigeria strongly deems it fit to address members of the press or the public on the subject matter and to add its voice to that of other well-meaning Nigerians and groups in calling for a cautious approach in the handling of the very delicate situations staring at us. The call is not oblivious of the biting economic reality in the country, characterized by the growth in poverty level of the populace, which the effect is very visible for all to see. It is the stand of the call that any step that carries with it the potential to metamorphose to a crisis situation should be considered inimical to the general good of the country and that of the citizenry. The call is very much concerned about the likely aftermath of the proposed protest and thus pleads with its organizer to consider the very much important diplomatic option of dialogue, persuasion, rather than the option of protest in an already volatile and tense political atmosphere, and protest is highly susceptible to the activities of enemies of Nigeria, who will not only hesitate to use it, the platform, to unleash their ill intention and stifle the life out of ordinary Nigerians. The organization acknowledges some of the overwhelming burning issues of concern that have negatively affected the life of the people. Please, sorry. Is it this page? Acknowledges some of the overwhelming burning issues of concern that have negatively affected the life of the people, which form the backbone of the proposed protest. The issue range from rising inflation, unemployment, hunger, insecurity, and the general economic with adverse consequences on the life of the people, the socio-economic and security of the nation. Most of these realities have more grave consequences on the average Nigerian, particularly the youth and women, and are capable of compounding the already fragile security of the nation. Gentlemen of the press, while we appreciate the everyday enormous challenges confronting Nigerians, which we are also affected as a result of the ongoing reform with its attendant initial hardship by the federal government, it is imperative to be reminded that the present administration of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR is barely a year and 2 months in office. It is not in doubt that the present administration inherited a myriad of issues, including high level of insecurity, which it has thus far demonstrated a strong willingness and capacity to overcome. Realistically speaking, too, it is the demand of impossibility to expect that these several and complex challenges that have existed for over 3 decades will all be resolved overnight. It is our strongest belief that the present situation of the country can only be effectively resolved through a combination of short, medium, and long-term measures under a rational system. It is expected that the present administration rolls out feasible measures to intervene and arrest these vices upon which the idea of organizing any process was bettered. The Peace Corps of Nigeria therefore passionately appeal to all well-meaning Nigerians, especially the youth, to exercise a little more patience and support Mr. President to drive his program and policies for the ultimate benefit of Nigeria and Nigerians as a whole. With the current state of the country, it is equally expected that a more robust, sustainable, and institutionalized approach be adopted by the government to ensure that the youth are meaningfully engaged in productive ventures to meet their various life demands, which in turn mitigates the present economic and security challenges. Let me remind us once again, as I've said in my previous address, that in a more developed economies, concerted efforts are steadily made to preoccupy the youth in productive venture where they will be economically useful to themselves and the larger society. Premise on this, I urge the federal government to support genuine youth group like the Peace Corps of Nigeria as a vehicle to effectively empower the youth. Gentlemen of the press, I reiterate that in a volatile and tense atmosphere as we have now, the best approach to douse the tension is high-level diplomacy, which encompasses integrated negotiation, collective bargaining, and constructive social engagement, and certainly not a recourse to process of any form. It is on the strength of this that I appeal to the government officials, especially the security forces, to be circumspect and exercise high level of restraint in their response to the planned protest. To this end, let everyone be mindful of the fact that threats and counter-threats will only end up being counterproductive and will do this nation no good at all. Finally, let me remark that over the years, our youth have demonstrated that they are innately endowed with all the necessary tools to achieve a peaceful nation. As a result, I urge them to deeply reflect on this problem and have a return with regard to the planned nationwide strike. Once again, many thanks to you, the gentlemen of the press, for your prompt response to our invitation to this press conference and for your kind audience today. God bless us all. They are brave from their research in order to address some of the concerns of Nigeria. I believe that giving government a benefit of doubt to see whether the measure that the Nigerian youth particularly expected, whether it will be addressed or not. So I will continue to say that, look, for now, that we still need to give government the benefit of time. Like I said, a government that is under 1 year and you want the government to perform a miracle to address what have been on ground over the years, I think it doesn't make any sense. The social advancement of any nation or the challenges of any nation can be addressed just like the social psychology development of a child. We need to stand for stand for. That is the making of a nation. So we believe that now that the government has shown strong commitment that, look, we address these questions, I believe that benefit of that should be given to the government. Process will be the last resort. As you know, The Peace Corps of Nigeria is an NGO, and there are limitations to what we can do. If we can directly reach out to Mr. President, I think this press conference would have been needless. But we believe that the bureaucracy involved to reach out to Mr. President may not permit us to advise accordingly. And we feel we can use this medium, you understand me, to reach out to the people, to the government in power to do the needful. All that you have stated, I think I've been seeing you from every public program, even the program at the level of the presidency ministry, you have been covering it. I think that question will be properly directed to them for you to get the required answer. But for us, it's advocacy and sustained appeal to the conscience of Nigeria youth vis-a-vis the entire citizenry for them to be patient with the government. Investment here, I felt you should know our status better. It's courtesy of Peace Corps you came to Abuja and you are one time deputy public relations officer with us. You understand me? You should know that that patient should better be directed to the Minister of Information or any other government official and not me at the head of Peace Corps. Thank you very much.